is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders and closet swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Got a little bit of a rally. I don't know if I'm more excited about the rally. Oh, the squadron we got piling into the house. Good morning to Albert. Good morning to Adam, Albert. Good morning, Amy, Andy, Brian, Greg G's in the house. Good morning to Jay Linder. Good morning to Jill, Joe, John, Martina, Matthew, Sylvan, Sebastian. Good morning. We got Tanya, Tina. Good morning to Tish, Wally, all my peeps out there in YouTube land. Good morning to Daniel. We got Jennifer Lovell out there. All my other just larkers in the background of YouTube land. Good morning to all you guys. Feel free to type some comments in there. I mean, there you go. Ivo, good morning to you. Oof. That's okay. I love all the lurkers. I love all the lurkers. Just make sure there's only one. If you're gonna lurk, one requirement. That's it. I only ask for one thing. Just hit that little thumbs up, that like button, subscribe, and if you want to go a little extra, share it with a friend. If not, we'll do this again tomorrow. Spy does have a little bit of a gap up. We do have Costco coming into the YouTube chat. Good morning to Gene, Ola as well. So we'll take a look at Costco. I believe they had some earnings. Spy is gapping up. I don't know. Is the bottom in? I don't know. It's a dangerous game to predict where that bottom comes in, but this is a good little support. This would be a nice little bounce area. We'll see if we want to hold it. Everything up until this point, the reversal is going to be tough to say, okay, this is the moment we reverse, because one, that head and shoulders is still on the table. We have not really tested that neckline. Come on, Zoom. Where's that pen thing? They always put it like on like half a screen and make me work for it. There we go. There we go. So this would be the neckline of this head and shoulders, something to this extent. So whether we just have a massive recession coming, or in 3 weeks from now, nobody remembered they sat through any of this, that's all possible. But at some point, regardless of which direction we're going to go, there's usually some kind of a balance, some kind of a retest of the neckline. And then we kind of make a decision from there as to which way to go. So, yeah, I wouldn't say this is like, okay, we're definitely going to bounce. However, there's probably one coming. Question is where, when, why, and how. And it's going to be tough to predict, because up until this point, everything has just been sell the rip. So anytime people go, I need to buy something, I'm getting excited on stock, I like XYZ. They figured out later they did not actually like XYZ, as they're losing money on that position. So I don't know if this is still sell the rip. It is an interesting gap. So we closed kind of weak. We did have a little bit of a wick at the bottom of the candle yesterday, but we're off the lows. And what's more appealing to this is we do have a little bit of support, hopefully coming in right around 427.18. And if we can hold, then the risk reward is actually more bullish today. So then we would get a hold somewhere around. So I would love to see pull back a little bit at open, see if we could get a bounce somewhere around that 427.18, 427.17, something to that extent. As long as we can hold that level, then we will have a better risk reward to the upside than to the downside. If we end up breaking down, then we got to look for double bottom, low of the day. We'll probably get a little support and then see if that wants to break. And I think that would be quite an ugly day if it does. But to the higher side, if we really get a good momentum, good rally going, squeeze some shorts, we're looking for 431.15. Otherwise, we will probably have to play around with, I would say, 429.06, which would be essentially the opening price of yesterday. Also the opening price from the day before as well. So we're still living inside that gap and go. And again, this could be a retestment. Right now, I'd have to say probably lean a little bit more bullish at open, but give it a couple minutes, see if we get a pullback first, and then see how we interact with that 427, see if that is actually going to be any type of support. On the Qs, HVAC tip says new channel. No, we've been doing this for a minute now. I think we've been doing this for about a year, maybe. But make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. This way, when we give you the notifications we're live, which we do every single day from 9 a.m. Eastern to 9:30, you'll get that notification. And we'd love to have you join us each and every day. We got the Qs popping up. Looks very, very similar to the SPY. Again, there's going to be a bounce somewhere. I don't know where it's going to come. And I really don't want to catch the knives. But if we get a pullback to 355.15, that would be at least my support. So I'd want to see that hold. If we start breaking, then again, we're going to have to play around with the lows of yesterday to the higher side. We might use this level here as some type of the first level to the higher side, 356.25. That's been retested. We've played that story before. What hasn't been retested, if we do go really bullish, start squeezing some of those bears out of the way, 358.62. That would be my target. Otherwise, very similar to the SPY. Look for this. We have about 3 levels. Let's say this is a weaker one, 356. This one's going to be a little bit bigger, 356.88, and then maybe we could hit 358.48 if it's a really, really good day. And by good day, probably just squeezing some of those bears. That would be about the extent of it. Subscribe, my friend. Keep up the great work. Ooh, we got a subscriber. Appreciate it. Look forward to trading with you. We got Costco with a little bit of a gap down. I think their earnings were actually pretty good. Yep, so they beat by 7 cents, just over 7 cents earnings per share. They did beat by 1.2 billion in revenue, which is 1.57. So rather decent earnings that we are selling off of. Nothing really shocking in the Costco report, but again, the gap down could be. I don't obviously have what the outlook was for Costco, but there's a thing called price to price. I can't really talk today. Price to perfection, which would be, no matter how, like, they would have to be below out of the water earnings for this thing to really run up higher from the close of yesterday. This looks like a pretty nasty double top on Costco. Walmart's held up good. Costco's held up good. All the big retailers have held up pretty good for now. FedEx is another one, been holding up pretty good. Eventually, I think eventually they'll have their day, and this could be the start of it. This is a retest gap. I wouldn't look to go short. We're already down a decent amount into support. Good morning to Win. Good morning to Adam. But yeah, this I would probably only look to fade this one bullish. And again, that could also coincide with the market maybe trying to go a little bit more to the bullish side today too. But it's right now doing something different than the rest of the market. Again, you do have people already short this thing. Those guys are going to be profitable. Costco, we're going to move up a little bit higher on our list, if TradingView lets me. Somehow Palantir just disappeared completely. I don't know. It's possessed. There's a ghost. But yeah, I would look to play that one higher. Hayward Holdings. They do look different. I don't know the volume on this one. Hayward Holdings. Consumer durables, recreational products. Hayward Holdings rises on S&P Small Cap 600 inclusion. All right. Didn't quite make it to the 500 inclusion yet, but 600. Well, I'll take what you get. Up on Tuesday's close, Hayward had fallen 8.9% year to date. 6 out of 10 brokerages rate Hayward a buy or higher, 3 hold and 1 sell. All right, so decent ratings. It is a pretty good gap. You don't have that much room, I don't think, before we get some scared bulls. We're at a really key volume area. So obviously for this thing to go higher, that's going to have to break, which we'll see what happens. I don't know if I'd want to go long on this one. It is a good gap though, and I could see why some people might. One, I don't know the volume. I don't know how this one trades. We've been making a little bit of an uptrend recently. Most of the bigger move has been a down move. Let's see if we get a fib on this thing real quick. And we got the double tops right above us as well. That's going to prohibit a little excitement. So our fibs in a longer term picture, the next real fib would come in probably about 1593. If that's the case, we will have some room to the higher side. But we're at a key resistance. I would actually probably I don't know if I would short this one because it is a good gap up. I would probably be looking to go long only if it's fallen dramatically during the day. So if this one retests a lot, that might give us an opportunity. It does look decent. Again, it just we've been here before and we've not been able to make it past. 1.8 million a day. Typically I'm looking for about 2 million, but if we do have some good news on it, you might get a little extra volume on this thing today too. Good morning to Pete. USO energy still rocking. Yep. So United States oil funds. We've got 81.92 is the open. We've got one little level of resistance that we've been to before, somewhere around 82.18. I've no telling if that one could break this time or not. But this is technically a retest gap, so probably don't be the first one to buy, especially that we are coming into a little bit of potential resistance. Pull back on this one. I'm not sure how far this one comes back, but first spot, I wouldn't go blind order there, but 81.51. And then as this thing kind of pulls back, see if we get a full on retest to like $81. But it's a decent gap, a little bit of a retest. Not every single person technically, because we still have a couple people up here who might have went long and they're still losing. But for the most part on this gap up, you have a lot of people profitable. Yesterday, you also directly from yesterday, you're going to have some people open profitable at open. I would probably look for this thing to pull back before going long, but the trend is nice on this one. Let's see if Oxy is moving as well. Yeah, I would say Oxy is a little different. This is a retest gap, but those three candles I would say are absolutely meaningless to this pattern. So last 3 days we did not do anything. We have consolidated at the lows of this candle. I would say this is the candle that is going to play the most. That's a nice little just move we just had right now. Yeah, anything above this candle that would give me a little more incentive to run bullish. Probably next target would be about 65, 61. So I would say watch this candle. We could also draw a fib on that, and the fib might be scary on this down move. Let's see. So if we have a fib, the next spot takes us the 50% retracement is about 65. Would peel something off the table, 65.08, just in case, and then probably be looking into this area of 65.33 of kind of what we talked about before. So I'd be mostly out of that position if you want to hang on to a little bit, see if we get to like 65.57. But it is a little congested up in here. This is the candle that I would be looking to play, not so much on this retest. I think this one has the ability to run out of the gate. We'll see. But if they could give us I'm going to put Oxy a little higher on the list. If I could get like a red high wave candle out of the gate, that might be worth the play, especially opening up in this range. Let's take a look at XOM. ExxonMobil toward the highs of the day. Again, we are going to have some resistance up here. We've had it twice. There is a little bit of a double top. This one's it is a retest gap as well. So 118.41 would be probably the next target that would have to. And then once we break that, we should be good to fly. This one is a retest gap into a much bigger resistance. So I wouldn't probably go bullish on this one out of the gate. I'd have to wait for a pullback for me personally. I hate buying things when they are kind of sitting at all-time highs. I feel like I just don't want to do that. I don't want to be that guy. We got Meta. Very consolidated in here. Lots and lots of resistance above us. Technically, we did not break out of this candle. So again, this is the candle I'd be looking for a breakout of. I would love to see a pullback first, maybe down into 299.26, get right below that 300 level. That's going to give us a much better entry in terms of risk reward, at least. Then we could even have stops at like 297.19. So Meta, I think, is going to be a little bit more choppy. First target 301.08. First support 298.87. So if this thing could pull back and then we get to go, that might be a little bit more, I think, entertaining. AMD and then Nvidia. AMD. I mean, we've had weakness forever. But before the market went weak, AMD was ahead of the game. But maybe that means they're going to be ahead of the bounce back. We'll see. I don't know. We are gapping above. We're still inside day candle from yesterday. That's going to cause a little bit of a chop to the high side. I'm looking for 97.43. That's not going to give us too much room to play with. To the downside, we are sitting at a little bit of support. So I would expect some kind of a chop. If we could get past 97.51, we should have a decent amount of room. Next target will be 98.58. And then probably back up to, well, I got 99.99. Just see if we could retest that. But this is a retest gap as well. This one's never been closed. I'm sure there's a bunch of people probably looking for this gap fill and seeing then if we get that rotation over. Yesterday Nvidia and AMD held up pretty well until essentially to the end of the day. I believe Nvidia held up a little bit better throughout the day, at least. So yep, we got the vids still inside day, but this one might be one of my favorites. We at least have a decent uptrend. We are gapping above yesterday's VPOC, which was also prior than the higher day. Because it's inside, I would expect a little bit of chop, but I'll be looking for bullish out of the gate on this one. I really want to see if 422.02 holds. And then we do have decent room. I was looking for this break yesterday. And we just could not get it. So we'll see. But here's a 15-minute chart of Nvidia. This is what I was looking to break. And even kind of came in with like some kind of almost head and shoulders on the 15-minute yesterday. So there's the left shoulder, there's the head, there's the right shoulder. We got the breakdown. So this is a pretty important gap, I think. I really want to see 422.20 holds. And then the most attractive thing about this one, and I don't know if we could get all the way up to like 431. But I had targets yesterday at 428. We essentially hit 428, maybe a couple pennies over it. I do have a moving average coming down on us back into that 428 zone. So somewhere back in this 428, I think is where we get that resistance, but there's not a lot of liquidity here at all. So it's got room to fly if we could finally get Nvidia to step on the gas pedal a little bit. So we'll see. I'm going to move that up there. I do like this one a lot to play bullish. We've got decent 2 days now, really, of support. The biggest support, 421.77. If I can get stops under that, I kind of like this one a decent amount. So even though it's inside day and clearly there's a wick up there, this was stronger than I think the rest of the market yesterday. And now the entire market is kind of gapping a little bit. Amazon for potential to buy October puts if the price gets to 127.30 and fails. VPOC from yesterday, strong close under the daily 100 AMZN. Yeah, that was a horrific close. I mean, there's no better way to paint the picture. We are gapping up a little bit. I see what you're going for. I got yesterday's VPOC somewhere around 125, 127.35. It's not a bad location if you're gonna try to get some puts on Amazon. I do see a wide open gap up here still. I'd almost want to see how today closes. I would make probably my put decision at the close, just because if today, and again, it's a slim chance, but there is a chance that today is the beginning of some type of reversal. We did come down to a pretty key spot on the SPY and the Qs yesterday. So if we could get any type of a bounce, you probably have a lot of people looking for, okay, where can I get in short? Most of those people are probably going to be wrong. And I think just having a little patience to get in, This gap fill would be a tremendous place to do it, which is actually up close to 136.21. Those October puts would be absolutely hosed if that happens. But if you want to try, it's not a bad spot to look for some puts on Amazon. If we get back to this, I would personally put it at 127.32. And then your stop, essentially you're going to get tapped out at 131.08, somewhere above that. So any of those locations, I would even be more patient and go for the, like, if it gets to 131.23, then you're limiting your risk reward. If you start breaking above that candle, you're gonna still lose on those puts, but not a whole heck of a lot. You're gonna be out there, and then try it again if it does climb up a little bit higher to this 136 zone. So I'd be just a little more cautious. We've sold off a lot in this market. We've sold off. I mean, even on this Amazon move, we've had one green day, one day that was green, and that was an inside day. Otherwise, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we'll exclude that one. So 8 days of pure selling. There's going to be, and even if we are essentially heading into a bear market, there's very, very bullish rallies within bear markets, and we're not in a bear market yet. But the bigger problem is when CNBC starts coming out and newspapers start printing and saying, all right, we're in a bear market. That's because we're 20% off the highs, which means if you're an investor waiting for them to tell you that you're in a bear market, you've already missed a big part of the move. So same thing here. We're not in a bear market yet. I think if we can get a bigger rally, your risk reward becomes a lot better. So I personally would just be a little careful. Tesla, but if you own shares too, buying insurance, the true purpose of having puts in the first place, then it's not so bad. And depending on where you got in on some of those shares, depending on what you hold, using it for insurance as opposed to just to trade it, that's different. All right, we've got Tesla. I do love the fact that we are above 244.94. We're at one little resistance. That's going to be somewhere around 245.81. I would love to see a pullback into 244.86, and that would give me at least decent risk reward, I would think. And again, Tesla's another one that has the ability to run. We will have to pass through 245.83. Next immediate target, I would say, is probably about 248.20. After that one, we don't really have much in the way, 251.87, and then maybe back to 254.17. So we'll have to see how this holds up. Again, we did break out bullish yesterday. Bears weren't going to allow it. They smacked it right back down. It was kind of even though it was a green candle, it's still a little bit of a weak close. But it's a fairly decent. It's not incredibly strong. It's still inside day. I think that at some point, even if we open up and this thing starts to run, I think that will pull back and we could get a better chance at somewhere around a 244.83. So I'll probably be a little patient on Tesla, but decent. All right, let's see. We covered Nvidia. What's up, Raj? We covered Tesla, Infy, INFY. We covered Amazon. I think we should be able to get to Lucid. Info Systems Ltd. It's limited edition. Unless there's a huge significant gap somewhere, I'm not really seeing any pre-market activity. So for a day trade purpose, I don't really see anything too crazy. Potentially a cup and handle-ish shape, but I mean, even that is more V shape. It's already up decent. The spot you really want to hold on to is 1463.45. So right now we're slightly above that. There was our break. This should be our retest, and then maybe continuing bullish could be key. Little bit of probably next level will be 1497.55, and then we're kind of back into this chop zone. This looks like it was some type of pennant pattern. We broke down bearish. This all could be the retest to it. That would be a perfect little retest, and we come lower. I don't really have a great read on this one. Again, the trend is decent. I don't know too much about this company fundamentally or what they do. That would be something that we could look into. Otherwise, you're probably in a little bit of a chop fest from here, because that is where your retest was. So any bears that missed that first drop, this is essentially the middle of that pennant pattern. This is where they would be looking to load the boat. However, you are above some key levels. This green candle I think would be important. If you want to short, you could probably hop in underneath that green candle, and that would take you. Then I think you have good resistance above you at that point. All right, we got Lucid full moon on the 29th. Yay. If it's not a government shutdown, it's the full moon. Why can I not type Lucid correctly? There we go. Probably because the company is garbage. What doesn't mean we can't make money off. Does not mean we can't make money off it. Fundamentally, I would just never own Lucid in my stock portfolio ever. Just never. It's off the table. This is a retest gap. It is a nice little gap though. This is a retest. We do have a pretty big resistance where we're at now. I would look for this to fade again, probably about 20 cents to the downside. But I think Lucid, I think a lot of investors will probably take this opportunity to just get out for a small loss no matter where they got in. See if this thing comes back. If you do like it long, I do like that hammer down there or a little high wave at the bottom, little reversal. This is a good reversal pattern, but this is also a retest gap. So see if this one fades lower. If you do want to play this one, bullish 532 would be your entry, and then stop somewhere around 497. That would be not a bad swing trade. Probably would not be a day trade, but today at open, I would not want to be the first one to get in there bullish. Let me see. Does DraftKings appear to be an abandoned baby? It's a bear candle, but it appears to be. Well, abandoned babies could be bullish or bearish. No, I don't think this would qualify because the wick still went up there. Yep. Yeah, you still have that wick. If this was a true abandoned baby, nothing of that candle. So it would be a gap down. You'd have a wide open gap, then you would have gap up, wide open gap. So this one wouldn't really qualify. You do have a potential. No, it wouldn't even be an island reversal, nothing like that either. Unless we got like another gap today or tomorrow or something like that, which was gapping up to, I don't know, 29.94. So right now it's just a retest gap technically that just never really got filled yet. I would be looking probably strongly for the $30.07 target if you're going bullish on this thing. See if that gap could close. But I think they had some upgrades tomorrow. Oh, yesterday, tomorrow. I'm predicting the future. Tomorrow they will get an upgrade. No, they just had an upgrade yesterday. So Rock Fullwood. Let's have a moment of silence. Moment of silence. Rock is back in the house. What just happened? Woo! Crazy. But what is also crazy is the market is about to open. So everybody out there on YouTube land, I do appreciate you joining us each and every day. Unfortunately, this is the part of the day where I got to shut down. You can trade with us all day. We do have all access patches. Go to reallifetrading.com. You can check it out. We're doing this till 6 p.m. today, every single day that the market's open. It's pretty crazy if you think about it. But we also have free education, free online classes. You guys can check all that out right there. It's zero. It's a freemium. And otherwise, we'll do this again tomorrow.